right, Jay, let's jump right into it, man. You're holding the title. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
How does it feel carrying that accolade around?
It's cool, man. You know what I mean? Having a belt as a professional anywhere is really good. I wish that people understood how much work actually goes into belts that don't have the letters UFC on them. I feel like unless you have a UFC belt, people don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So it's like it's cool for me because like it was a real big accomplishment. I've wanted that belt for a really, really long time, and I intend to keep it. But belts are just a means to an end at this point. I really just want to be in the UFC, and every belt that I get gets me closer. So it's really cool. I'm honored to be among the group of people that have owned this belt. But at the end of the day, more belts means higher chance I get signed. So that's really what I'm after.
Yeah, man, especially what you've been through the last 2 years, right? Of just like cancel fights and kind of like trying to find guys to fight you. It's been hard for you, and but they gave you the chance, man, for this belt, and you went in there and snatched it up. What did you think of the performance that you had to get this belt?
I think it was good. It was better than my performance prior to that. So I fought Diego Silva, who is on the card with me. Um, and I put on a lackluster performance. So I went in there and my striking still has some stuff to be desired, but I was controlled. I had fun in there. I remember um, just missing the atmosphere that I was in, and once I got into the like I said, the zone or whatever you call it, the performance just kind of spoke for itself. I worked really hard. I worked really hard. I went in there and I did what I was supposed to do. And I choked him. I got a good finish on UFC Fight Pass. I can't really be mad at the performance. Obviously, there's things that I can go back and nitpick, but like other than that, I choked the guy unconscious. So like, what can I say?
If you did nitpick the performance, what would you see? What do you see?
I rocked him on the feet a couple of times, and instead of because of his positioning and how he was falling down, I kind of went for a takedown. Um, it's really really quick. You can tell his knees buckle a few times. I probably could have finished that a little bit earlier. But these are things to work on and look at and see in hindsight that my striking is still pretty dangerous. Um, uh, Maybe just take a little bit more calculated risk and know that my chin will hold up against pretty much anybody unless you know what I mean. You've got literally a bomb in your right hand. And just have a little bit more fun, take a little bit more risk, and go for striking finishes a little bit more because I probably could have still ended that on the feet if I had just kind of waited out the situation. But I'm happy with it either way.
Is that what you wanted heading into the fight? Did you want to get a knockout?
I'd like to. Who doesn't like knockouts? You know what I mean? Knockouts. Not to say that submissions, the way that I did it, doesn't get attention on you, but knockouts get you more attention. So I'd like to do that, and obviously, it's weird because everybody that has trained with me or knows me or has worked with me before knows that my boxing is very good, and I just haven't really been able to display that in a lot of like I get a lot of grapplers, you know what I mean? I get a you know what I mean that people will shoot, or if I start to get the better of them, they shoot. So it's like it's not that a lot of my finishes come from I've rocked this person on the feet, they fall down, and I end up choking them. Um, I'd like a knockout just because I want to even it out. I've got like a symmetry thing. I've got 4 or 5 rear naked chokes now and 2 knockouts. I'd like a third one. You know what I mean? Try and get as many finishes to be diverse. But yeah, that's I guess I wanted that, but I'm okay with whatever I came up with. I got the win, so
Hmm.
you know what I mean. I can't be mad.
Yeah, the club and sub, man. I like it. I like you rocking somebody, and then because that's where some of the best finishes come from. Is you showed more of your skill set, I believe, by rocking somebody and then choking them out rather than just knocking them out, right?
Yep, yep, yep. Because anybody can get a lucky punch, man. Anybody can get a good one on a good day and get a good hit. But if I hit you 4 or 5 times, you wobble, and then I completely dismantle you positionally, I feel like that just proves what kind of fighter I am. I'm going to beat you everywhere. So, yeah, I was really happy that I got to display, my wrestling as well as my top control, as well as I exhibited a lot of facets of my game in that fight. And even though it ended in the second round, I got to display that I'm a very dangerous person. So that was cool.
Yeah, now you got this title defense coming up March 4th against Ashiek Ajim. It seemed like I don't if I remember correctly, was there a little bit of back and forth online between you guys, or was that something?
I do that with everybody. Honestly, I don't think it's not even really that I'm chirping at him. I'm just telling him things that are true. You know what I mean? Like you fought a guy that was 6-4, and then you fought a guy that was 2-6 in their last two fights. And I'm neither of those two. That caliber of fighter is not the type of person you're going up against. So if you think that, then you're in trouble. You know what I mean? So um, it's not that I don't like him or that I don't think he's good or has a future. It's more just like, dude, you know what I mean? If you really think that you're going to go in there and do the same thing you did to these guys against someone of my caliber, you're in for a very, very short and rude awakening.
Was he the first guy to raise his hand to challenge you for the title, or?
No, it was actually Chris Dissanel, but he got offered after they pushed the fight back for a month, and I'm not really even sure why they did that. Um, Chris got offered, I think, a Bellator fight of some kind. So, you know what I mean? He took that instead, and I can't even blame him. And Ashiek came up because again, we asked for a couple of different people, and they all, we got a bunch of crickets because I'm not a fight people want to venture into for whatever reason. That's happened to me a lot in my career. So Ashiek wasn't the first choice. At first they were like, nah, I don't think he's got enough experience to fight you. And then there were no other, other opponents lined up. So I just got Ashiek. I was just like, whatever, send him.
Yeah, and you're the champion, man. You want the target on your back, right? You want guys to come and challenge you. So, yeah, if he's gonna raise his hand, you might as well face him. When you strip away his opposition, like what do you see in him and his skill set?
He's got good boxing. He comes out, he's very clean. You know what I mean? He level changes really well. He throws a lot of feints really long. Other than that though, his cardio hasn't proven as well as mine. I don't think he's ever been to a third round. If he has, if he hasn't, then round 4 and 5 are going to be quite the event for you. Um, let's see. He's okay. He's got okay wrestling. It's okay, but from what I've seen, his top control is not great. You know what I mean? Like he gets you down, and then all he wants to do is hit you a bunch, and that's going to set him up for a lot of mistakes. And he gasses when he doesn't start to touch you. He starts to reach. So like he starts to reach against me, I'm going to counter him over the top. So I mean, like he's got good boxing. Like I always keep saying in a lot of other interviews, he's going to be great for the first 4 minutes, and then once everybody goes back to what they know. You know what I mean? Especially when they start to get tired. So he's going to get tired. And he's going to start swinging bombs. But if he can't hit me because I'm moving, he's going to get frustrated, reach, and make mistakes, and that's where I'm going to capitalize.
With him, being a boxing heavy guy, it gives you the opportunity to, like you mentioned, your striking. You're developing it. It gives you opportunity to kind of go in there and test it against a guy that's going to throw bombs, that's going to
Yep.
test your striking.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, like everybody thinks that my attitude is that I'm going to walk through this guy, and I really don't think that that's the truth. I don't think that I'm just going to go in there and pounce on him and kill him. I think I will get the job done, and I will finish him. But it's gonna take a good test. Yeah, you know what I mean. I like technical strikers because I find myself to be a technical striker as well. Um, Outside that power, though, there's nothing super fantastic about his boxing. It's very clean. It's basic. It's clean. You know what I mean. He gets it done. He tries to hit you really hard. And um, I'm only going to get better as the rounds go on in typical boxer fashion. As rounds get deeper, I get better. Um, I'm excited for it. He's a guy that could hurt me. He could put me down. So I wake up every morning. I work really hard, even on my rest days. Even on my rest days, I'm still doing something. You know what I mean? I'm doing something because I know that this guy's going to come and try and take my head off, and that's fine. But I just don't see him doing it. It's just not going to happen. Many people have tried before who have had a laundry list of better opponents than him or even me, and they couldn't do it. And I just don't see what his path to victory is other than a bomb. And you're going to need more than that to beat me. So,
As a competitor, I mean, as a fighter, when you're in the gym every day, like developing these skills, the striking, wrestling, grappling, submissions, whatever, you want a guy, that's gonna face you, that's gonna test it, right? You don't want a guy that you're gonna run through, and there's been a lot of talk of like padded records in MMA. You know what I mean? So, I see where you're coming from in that viewpoint.
it's a formula these days, especially for regional fighters, is to fight bums until they get to the show. But the problem is they get to the show and then they lose because they're not used to getting a tough fight. You know what I mean? They beat all these people they're supposed to beat. And cool, you won. That's great. But you were supposed to beat that guy. At what point do you challenge yourself enough to think that you're the best in the world and you haven't fought a guy with a winning record, or you haven't fought a guy that's even 500. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me that people do that and then think that they're UFC caliber. I'm like, you're gonna get to the UFC. One of the worst records I've ever seen is Brennan Davis, and he's in the UFC, and that guy is just a tough fight. He's just all he is. He's just a scrapper. And I'll give you an example like Randy Costa. Randy Costa's a good friend of mine. He had that formula. You know what I mean? He beat up a bunch of people he was supposed to beat up, and then in his first fight, he got a guy that didn't have a great record, but was tough and would sit there and swing with him, and it wasn't going to go anywhere. And he ended up losing that fight. Now, obviously, Randy's had a little bit more success now, but that's a common thing, and I don't want that to happen. I want to test myself. I want to be able to say that confidently. I beat every good opponent that I could, or I fought every good opponent that I could to measure myself. That's what martial arts was about. I thought that's what this was about, not to just pad your record so you can get a nice Facebook, story. It was to prove to ourselves that I can fight, dude. I can fight anybody, and that's how I feel. I feel like I work my ass off to be able to fight and win against just about anybody. I don't care what their record is. I don't care where they're from. I don't know. I just I don't think it's a formula that's meant for longevity, especially in mixed martial arts. Now, obviously, like boxing, like people are trying to treat it like boxing and do like the bum thing and then get up there. But then again, MMA isn't boxing. You know what I mean? And the progression of the career is a little bit quicker. So I don't know. I've never been aboard for that. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying take fights that are too hard for no money, but you shouldn't be taking bums if you're claiming to be number one, number two in a region, or number two, or be a world champion. You shouldn't be claiming that. You know what I mean? You especially shouldn't be fighting people with losing records for belts. You know what I mean? If you've got a belt and you fought a guy that's 10-18, that doesn't mean anything to me. It means nothing to me at all. You know what I mean? It means that you fought a guy you were supposed to win. That promotion gifted you that fucking belt because they wanted you to be the champion. But that's about it. You know what I mean? You didn't fight anybody. You just got the belt. So um, it's not me. I don't plan on getting there and losing. I plan on getting there and staying there. So my records and the people I fought's records are just kind of like proof in the pudding.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I mean, internationally too. It's just
Hmm.
guys getting, like you said, gifted belts on these regional shows. And yeah, we could talk all day about that, and then go to the UFC and flushing out after two fights.
It's gross. It's really what it is. And then you know what? These people get to go around and say that I'm a UFC fighter. And then people like me who are legitimate fighters who fight every tough guy that they can, haven't gotten signed yet. And you just sit there and you're like, these guys get to say that they fought in the UFC. But what if I don't? And I'm a better fighter than them. You know what I mean? It's the Chris Curtis curse.
Yeah, but you see what Chris Curtis is doing now when he hits the big show.
Boom, boom, boom. That's my guy. So, um, that guy gives me hope, to, just keep going and make sure I'm getting everything done. So, um, I can't speak for other people, but I know that I fought as tough as many tough people as I can. You know what I mean? I've never taken an easy route my whole career, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start fighting bums and see what happens. Because I guarantee that if I started fighting bums, then I become a bum. You get what I mean? Like the court of public, oh, we fought all these people, and now I fight people that are just like everybody else is fighting, and then the criticism will come my way instead of theirs. And it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Ashiek's a good fight. He's going to be a great fight. He's going to give me a good one. But he's not going to come out of that ring with that belt. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, man, I think this is a good fight, a good matchup. And like you said, Ashiek is not a guy that, anybody's gonna just run over. So what do you see, man, in this fight? How do you see it playing out?
First round's going to be hell. Um, you know what I mean? He's going to come at me with everything he's got, and that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. His last two victories have been in 30 seconds. So I don't expect him to not put his foot on the gas in the first round. But I fought a lot of guys with first round finishes and beating them. So first round's going to be tough. I see myself ending this in the late second or mid third. I don't really know how yet. I see myself again rocking, choking. But we'll see how it goes. But I don't see this going to a fourth or fifth.
All right, Jay, man, appreciate you, man, for the time, and we'll be chatting, man, again. I feel real
Thank
soon.
thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.